When the sky split into 1,000 flashes and the earth shook beneath a mighty roar, people heard for the first time the whisper of ancient beings who inhabited the stars. In many ancient cultures, from the Sumerian Enlil to the Hindu Devas, the gods were seen as beings with superhuman powers who could manipulate the elements of nature. The legends of the Indus Valley tell the story of three divine factions. Faction symbol: main powers, Agniraja Burning, serpent, fire and energy; primordial flame, Varunadeva Trident of water, rain; control over rivers, Vayumitra Winged, lion, wind, storms. Dispersion of matter. According to myths, these three forces once coexisted in balance, ensuring the prosperity of the Indus: fertile fields, regular floods and gentle winds that favored agriculture and trade. At one point, Agniraja felt his fire weakening. Its source, the heart of the flame, a legendary crystal ball hidden deep within the Kira Mountains, began to lose its intensity. To regain his power, Agniraja decided to transform the energy of the heart into a pure, concentrated form, something we would call atomic energy today. At the same time, Varunadeva, who watched over the rivers, noticed that the water was beginning to recede and its flow was becoming irregular. He feared that Agniraja, in his pursuit of new power, might transform water into vapor and then into gas, another step towards atomic transformation. Vayumitra, observing the growing tension, tried to mediate, but his own power, control over the air, began to dissipate under the influence of the growing waves of energy. Agniraja, in desperation, focused all his energy in one place, in the center of the great sanctuary in Mohenjo-daro. There, with the help of ancient rituals, he transformed the heart of the flame into the first atomic core. The effect was immediate. An invisible ray was created, lighting up the sky like artificial daylight. However, the energy was not controlled. The beam spread in the form of radiation waves that penetrated stone walls, earth, and water. The water of Varunadeva began to evaporate at an unprecedented rate, and the air of Vayumitra became thick and toxic. The inhabitants of Indus, unaware of the nature of this phenomenon, experienced sudden fires throughout the city that could not be extinguished. Violent droughts and floods at the same time, as the water first evaporated and then flowed down in a single destructive wave. Air pollution that caused mass illness and death. Seeing the results of his experiment, Varunadeva decided to retaliate. He directed all his power against Agniraja, creating a giant tsunami wave powered by atomic energy. This wave hit the sanctuary, shattering the crystal and releasing even more radiation. In response, Vayumitra unleashed a powerful hurricane, whose winds carried scattered radioactive particles. The hurricane swept through the entire valley, destroying farmland, washing away trade routes and scattering ash across the region. Within a few days, the three divine forces exchanged atomic attacks that were no longer merely symbolic, they became real, destructive energy explosions. Entire cities were razed to the ground and their inhabitants were forced to flee to the mountains, where the radiation was weaker. After the end of the nuclear war, the cities of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro remained in ruins, and their architecture was never rebuilt. Agriculture was no longer possible in the valley because the soil had been destroyed by radiation and the salinity of the water made it inedible. Trade with Mesopotamia and other regions was severed, leading to the isolation of the remaining communities. Culture and knowledge, records, building techniques, writing systems, were partially lost, leaving only fragmentary traces in graves and artifacts.